We're going to make a different type of video today. Yesterday I was here and was just amazed. A little history. I'm 81 years old, and I have driven Snoqualmie Pass as long as I can remember. I've read about Denny Creek campground, but have never been there as an adult. Today we're going to travel what they now call Denny Creek Road, which is actually, I believe, the original Highway 90. I've been coming over Snoqualmie Pass as a passenger with other people as an adult and have driven over, but have not been on this road. It's an amazing road. It goes right through Denny Creek Campground, which is the original highway. I have driven, we'll start on our journey. I have driven the new freeway. No, I should say I have driven many times the freeway that replaced the original road. And I have driven the new freeway many times, but never this. This is the original Highway 90, or a piece of it, ends up at the summit from Denny Creek area. Actually, exit 47 on Interstate 90. It's a very peaceful place. It is, yesterday at 5:30 or 6 o'clock, it was dark because of the amount of light that comes through the heavy timber. We're now driving under Interstate 90 at the lower end. We're now making the turn onto the original highway, continuing up to the summit of Snoqualmie Pass. The freeway is to our left, and as you can see, the total road is about the width of a lane on the freeway. We'll try to show the whole thing as we go. There's some original big timber there on our right. Must be 4 foot through. They have left the trees just as they were back then, growing right next to the road. We will continue to record till we get to the summit of Snoqualmie Pass. I do have memories of this road, I believe, when I was a child with my parents. But like I said, never as an adult or even teenager. Everyone should make this drive to remind themselves of what it was like back in the day. .20-mile speed limit. It was probably 35 or 40 in the day, maybe not. I guess I'll have to research that. There's actually a cabin up here that someone lives in, right here, probably the original. And it appears someone is building a new cabin next door to that. So they must have owned that piece of property originally, or it's now considered private. That I don't know. But I'm sure it was National Forest back in the day. And Interstate 90 is still to our left. There is some construction activity right there. I want to let the car go by. I want the feel of what it's really like without travel, without traffic, driving 75 and 80 over 90. I love this new world down here. I think this is the place a person can go and get some sense of what's happening in their life. I hope the sound comes out okay. I do have the windows down a little bit. It's a beautiful sunny day up above. The further we go, the more amazing it seems to get, with some steep grades, switchbacks. I have my GPS on with the sound off, so it won't interfere. Now I know what my parents saw, excuse the emotion, when they drove this many years ago. Creek is down below our right. I'm assuming that's Denny Creek, which flows into the river. I've heard stories, and there's one more old location that probably hasn't been here. It looks like originally. I remember my sister talking about Blewett Pass when Mom and Dad and her and I don't know who else was in the car, nearly went over the side of Blewett Pass in the fog. And they stopped, and they were right at the edge, ready to go over the mountain. I can see why on a road like this. And I'm going to go to Blewett Pass and record some of that old highway also. Looks like they have replaced the original bridge, but it's just like the original. Steel girders, wooden platform. Now the creek is on our left. It's beautiful. There's a few people parked here, some campers, sightseers. No traffic noise, no crazy people, no one shooting guns. What a cool place. And if I talk too much, I'm sorry, but it's like driving into Jurassic Park compared to that place up there on the hill. The freeway is suspended by columns of concrete. This is Denny Creek campground. I don't know if we're going to drive through or not. This is the original highway to the right, and the left goes through the campground. Maybe we'll take a little tour, because after this turn, it's a one-way road out of here, going east. What a beautiful campground. Some of these people look like they're set up for days. Wish I had a trailer again. I could come here and spend a day or two. I think I'm too old to sit on the ground anymore. Or at least I think I am. Different kind of people camp here, I can see that. They're quiet, they wave, they're friendly. Okay, we're back at the beginning. And we'll make a left here and go on out on the old highway. If you've noticed, most of this is blacktop, asphalt. The original highway would have been concrete, and they've just made the road smooth again. I'm sure covering up all the cracks and all the bumps. And I think we have about 3.5 miles to go. So hang with me. I know I'll quit talking, we'll just view the scenery. Take in the quiet. And here's some of the traffic. If they're backpacking, the trailhead is here. Holy crap, I can't believe it. There was nobody here yesterday. But again, we're on the main road. And I think the trailhead is back to our left. Oh, thank goodness, away from people. Now we can see the highway as it was. Parking lot to our right. So as you can see from back where the parking lot was, they have changed a few things, added blur areas, and have made trailheads, which I don't think were here back in 45, 46 when I came through here, or before that with my parents. I'm thinking about it more and more. Maybe I never have been on this original road, not even with my parents, that I can recall, though I know they drove it. Back in the day, this would have been a low gear thing. Second gear, maybe. I remember my dad talking about some of the passes and steep hills. And it was Model A or Model Ts, I don't know which it was. You put them in reverse so they had more power in reverse so they could back up some of the hills. We're going to break out of the timber here. Now, if you were driving here, you cannot see it through the camera, but if you look up to the left, high up, it's where we used to see mountain goats when I was a kid from the newer highway. Everybody's always in a hurry. Ah, so sick of it. Can't even slow down and enjoy the country. Have to drive 25. 20 is just not fast enough. I'm only driving about 7 or 10, so I guess. Now we're going to make a little switchback up to our left. Over here, it's straight over the side, no guardrail. To the right. To the left is part of the freeway headed eastbound on Interstate 90. The view to our left, we're close to the mountain where it goes straight up, where they put the new freeway in going westbound. Going up several thousand feet to our left. Transmission's up to 172 degrees in second gear. We're back on. Lost my battery. Went dead. Got it plugged into the truck. I think it will be fine for the rest of the trip here. Interstate 90 is to our right. Westbound. And straight ahead of us is Interstate 90 going, to our right is eastbound. We're going to now go underneath the freeway, which is westbound. To the left, if we turn left here, you go to Alpental. But we'll take the old road up to the summit. Then we'll come back and do a couple of mountain shots. This is part of the mountain available to you after coming off the end near the summit. A brief history for anyone that is interested. The first highway, or it was actually called the Sunset Highway, went from Seattle over Snoqualmie Pass to Natchez. I'll give you a brief history. First road was in 1853 that went between Fort Silicon and Fort Walla Walla. The Snoqualmie Wagon Road, completed in 1867, was the first wagon road over the Snoqualmie Pass. And for a little information, the Snoqualmie Indians, who were friendly to the whites, actually traded and intermarried with the Yakimas, and the first wagon road followed the trail that they used on horse and on foot. In later years, some of that was changed, making it easier for wagons and cars. But they were the original guides for the original wagon road. In 1905, the Snoqualmie Road, Wagon Road, became State Highway 7. That was the same year as in 1909, the Alaska-Yukon Pacific Exposition, which opened the road up for a car tour to Washington State. The actual Sunset Highway was established in 1913 as a primary state highway, and on July 1, 1915, the highway was officially completed and dedicated. In 1915, the route originally began at the Pacific Highway in Renton, through North Bend, over Snoqualmie Pass, and then to Easton, Cle Elum, and Ellensburg. Then continued east to Vantage, where you took a ferry over the Columbia River, and then continued north to Quincy with another ferry ride, and then it met the old Clockham Road, which it follows north to Wenatchee. From Wenatchee, the traveler crossed the Columbia River for a third time on a bridge, and then continued north to Waterville, then eastward to Spokane, and terminated at the Idaho border. That's a quick history of this road. In 1922, the road was improved, and the route was changed after reaching Cle Elum. In 1934, all sections of the highway were paved with concrete from Seattle to Spokane. And let's see. I have a little map shows the road we travel today. It originally started on North Bend Way in North Bend, continued and went east on McClellan Street, then west on North Bend Way. In 1923, the highway was realigned to the current route. And then you have locations along the highway which you could research. Olalla State Park, Olalla State Park West End, Weeks Falls, which is currently very popular, 15 Mile Crossing, that is where they cross the Snoqualmie River, 15 miles from North Bend. Tinkham Road, which you will see if you drive Highway Interstate 90, is one of the stopovers, and they crossed the river there to reduce the 17 crossings of the Snoqualmie River between 15 Mile and the summit. Exit 47 is where we started our trip today off of Interstate 90. This section of road is just east of Granite Mountain Trailhead. In 1926, Sunset Highway west of Snoqualmie Pass went major improvements. Prior to that, in 1915, the Denny Creek campground began as an auto camp for travelers on the new 1915 Sunset Highway. They had no amenities. Finally, in 1920, the auto camp developed into a park with clean restrooms, bathhouses, cooking stations, and a swimming pool. The switchbacks were 25% grades, so that they did the switchbacks to reduce the grades, which we drove over today, from 25% grades to what they are today. And that's enough information, I guess, but that gives you some information to show all the years that went on before I was born. So my parents did travel the old wagon road, and I'm so glad for the history. Thanks for listening.